My mind is suspended partway between sleep and wakefulness, a contented smile lingering on my lips, eyelashes fluttering lightly as my conscious self begins to dawn. Then my eyes flash open, the smile disappears in pain, and a pile of imagined letters flutter before me. 3 years ago, I was immersed in the war that had drained most of my energy and, it seemed, all of my emotion. I was stationed in Afghanistan in the Kabul office of the State Department and spent long hours translating clip recordings of conversation from Pashto and Farsi, languages I had studied while at the university, but only mastered once my life and life's work depended on it. From scratchy audio files to shards of handwritten notes, my work combined the monotonous exercise of an archaeologist dusting off an ancient stone with the keen awareness that a missed word or nuance could get someone killed. I knew that guessing right might put a wanted man in the crosshairs of an American drone, but guessing wrong could annihilate an innocent family instead. Spending long days briefing my civilian leaders, who brief their military counterparts, and the subtleties of culture and tradition of the locals was tiring and exhilarating, all at the same time. I knew I was expected to have the talents of both a linguist and a cultural attaché, to be mindful of Afghanistan's civilian and government traditions, and careful not to step on the toes of the indigenous military powers. It was a tricky balancing act, to say the least. Spending month after month worrying about other people's egos, both American and Afghan, left little time to worry about my own ego. I needed a break. Rotating back to the States was still a ways off, so a quick R&R in Italy seemed like the best way to rebalance my life. After 18 months on station, short periods of rest were not hard to get approved, so I took a week off and headed for Positano on Italy's Amalfi Coast. I had heard and read about the little fishing village turned Europhile getaway, and it seemed like the perfect prescription for what ailed me. I stuffed my rucksack with clean clothes, then reached for my laptop and satellite phone. I hefted the computer, looked at it with resignation, then slid it back into the desk drawer, pleased that I had cut the cord that bound me to it. I was not so successful with the sat phone, knowing that I couldn't be out of touch with the station completely. A driver handling a dusty station truck took me to the Hamid Karzai International Airport on the edge of Kabul, where I transferred to a military hop out of country. Another stop and another plane, and I landed in Rome aboard a commercial flight dropping into Leonardo da Vinci Airport. I gave half a thought to spending a night there, but the din of activity reminded me of what I was trying to get away from. Instead, I boarded an Italian train to Sorrento, where I transferred once again, this time to a small, unair-conditioned taxi for the drive to Positano. As the car left Sorrento, the countryside smoothed out, and the long strip of blacktop in front of me provided time to unwind and begin to reset my inner engine to a slower speed. Not long afterward, the cabbie embarked on a narrow, winding strip of road that hugged the ridge of mountain that rose to unseen heights on my left, just as the mountain fell into the sea immediately to my right. It was not exactly mountain goat territory, but I did occasionally wish that the driver would slow down and prevent the tires from screeching their way around the dead man's curves. We were on the Viale Pazitea when suddenly the car came to a stop, and the driver hopped out to retrieve my rucksack from the trunk. On my left was a long line of single-story shops and cafes. On my right, a sheer drop into the Mediterranean Sea. I couldn't see the hotel that was my destination, so I asked the driver, "Dove la Casa Albertina?" The driver pointed to a narrow opening between two of the shops, and I saw a set of stone steps inclining upward and off into the slope of the hillside. I retrieved my bag and ducked between the shops and started the climb to the hotel.